What's going on, guys? We're back with another Sant Rant video. Today we're here to talk about Game of Thrones Season 7 recap. I'm joined by my friend Andrew, and yeah, let's just jump right into it. So rewinding back to episode 1 of Season 7, in my opinion there wasn't really much going on. It was kind of more just picking up from where we left off at the end of Season 6. What were your thoughts, man?
I really thought that, the extermination of House Frey, that was a pretty good callback to the Red Wedding. Pretty good revenge for the Starks. I don't know, that episode, the drama between Jon and Sansa, I don't know. I didn't really like that part of the season. It kind of was in season 6. But it was a lot in season 7, and it wasn't really a strong plot point in the entire season, so I didn't really like that part.
I mean, I think it was more just filler to kind of conceal the fact that Sansa was going to have a rift with Arya, which would lead to the Littlefinger storyline. So I think they were just trying to deter us away from thinking that Sansa is going to go after Littlefinger, and we're all like, oh, Sansa and Jon, oh, look, now Sansa and Arya. But in reality, it was Sansa against Littlefinger.
Yeah, I did not like the Sansa and Arya drama at all, because, they just saw each other, I don't know how many years, and they're already fighting. But the finishing with Littlefinger was very, very nice.
Satisfying.
Very satisfying.
I also like how they ended episode 1 with Dany going to Dragonstone.
I loved how there was no words at all, silence, just music. It really brought the intensity of that moment, and I love Dany's words. I think it was like, "Shall we begin?"
So I think in episode 2 it also wasn't too action-packed or too eye-catching. I mean, the very end was when Euron attacked Dany's fleet. That was actually a really cool scene. It was more of just setting up the pieces on the chessboard for what was to start picking up in episode 3. Dany sending the Raven to Jon, and in the next episode he comes, or Dany and her army planning their attack and then later getting destroyed. So it was just setting everything up, and then it all snowballed from there.
I kind of liked how, everyone's like, oh, Dany's army too OP, too overpowered. And then all their ships just got pretty much destroyed by Euron.
Yeah, I mean, I like how you said, going into season 7, we have Dany and we have this OP army, 3 dragons, 8,000 Unsullied, 60,000 Dothraki, I think. It's just this unstoppable force, the Greyjoys, Martells, the Tyrells, and you just think that she's just going to roll throughout Westeros, and throughout the episodes you just see her get picked off. Her army just dwindles. I like how it ended with Theon jumping in the water. Theon got a lot of hate for that, but I think that even if he did try to save Yara, she would have ended up dying. So although he had that Reek flashback PTSD moment, I think somewhere deep down he knew that jumping off the ship would be the only way to save her, because it would give him an opportunity to go back and get her.
I don't know about saving her. I don't know. I did kind of feel like with that PTSD moment, he just wanted to get out of there. He didn't really think about it.
Definitely episode 3 started to pick up the pace in this season. We had the Siege of Casterly Rock, which was definitely hyped up more in the trailer than it was in the actual episode. Then we had the Siege of Highgarden. We also saw the Iron Bank come into play, and them get the gold to pay off the Iron Bank, and of course going down with the poison, dropping that huge mic on Jaime. And then I think one of the biggest fan services, but wasn't necessary for the story, Jon finally meeting Dany, two of the main characters that have been on opposite sides of the world for 6 seasons finally coming together. That was definitely a huge step in the right direction story-wise.
I kind of think that this season's the cross of characters. Everyone meets everyone this season, except for Sansa and Arya and Bran. But pretty much all the main characters, one scene together. I don't know, it's pretty cool. I also liked the Jon and Tyrion reunion. Jon's like, oh, what up? I'm a badass now. And then Jon's like, oh, I'm still a badass. But that all ends when the dragons fly over Jon's head, pretty much almost killing him, to be honest. and then just the natural shock on Jon and
Davos.
Yeah, Davos.
Yeah, when they flew over them and they ducked and they were like, oh, what the?
And then Tyrion's like, oh yeah, there's dragons. Oh yeah, Bran's homecoming was pretty nice. I love it when each of the Starks come home. And that music plays, so it's awesome. Like, he basically just like, oh yeah, Sansa, you got raped, but you look pretty beautiful that night.
I mean, I don't know if he knew the full extent to what happened. I don't think he was implying that he saw what Ramsay did to her. I think he just saw the wedding scene, and he didn't really understand why she started crying and kind of freaking out a little bit, because although he can see everything in the past, he can't hone in on specific things exactly. So I think he was more of just like, oh, you looked pretty that night, but he didn't know what happened after the wedding. Ending of episode 4 was probably one of my favorite scenes in Game of Thrones, the loot train attack, where Dany rides up on Drogon and all the Dothraki go and basically just slaughtered the Lannisters. But I mean, building up to that, we start off and we see the Lannisters with their gold, and I thought that not all the gold would get to King's Landing, and then Cersei wouldn't be able to pay off the Iron Bank. But it turns out all of it did, and Dany just destroyed all the food, which I thought would have been more of a problem. Like, Tyrion would have been, you destroyed all this food we could have had for our soldiers, or Jaime would have been like, we don't have any food for our soldiers, but they kind of just brushed over it, and I get it, they didn't have a lot of time in the season. We also see, I believe that's the episode with the Dragonglass cave, where Jon takes Dany into the cave and they're looking at all the cave drawings and the cave paintings. I thought that was really cool because I like history in real life, so it was cool to see that they kind of took stuff that happens in real life and put it into Game of Thrones in that aspect. I also thought it was good bonding for Jon and Dany. There's a scene where he grabs her arm to show her and they kind of stare at each other. It was, kind of showing us the inevitable what would happen between them.
Well, before the loot train battle, Arya comes home. It's pretty nice to see her finally look at Winterfell again, after everything she's been through, and then inevitably the drama between them, and then pretty much Bran to end it all. Dany's just fed up with losing after siege on Casterly Rock, and then Sullied are pretty much stranded there, and her losing her Greyjoy ships. So her quote, "Enough with the clever plans. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm going to the Lannisters myself, and Tyrion can't stop her. Like, what is he gonna do?" Yeah, the loot train battle was amazing. Like, seeing Dothraki and Lannisters. I mean, the Lannisters got destroyed, and then everyone to see the dragons or Drogon was pretty insane because dragons are back. They thought there was no more, it's impossible. They thought it was a myth that she had no dragons. Well, kind of destroyed them, and also with that big catapult thing.
Oh yeah, the scorpion.
Yeah, the scorpion. That's not good because they know they can kill him.
I mean, how did Bronn become such a good shot with that? I mean, I know he's a good archer, but I mean that's something different, and it's not like they just have spare scorpions for him to practice with.
Also, at the end of the battle, where Jaime is looking at Drogon and Dany landed, and she's trying to take out the big spear off of his wing. I don't know. I thought that was pretty powerful. When Tyrion's like, "Don't do it. Don't do it.
Flee, you idiot."
Yeah, flee, you idiot. And then, I don't know. A part of me wanted Jaime to die, but a part of me didn't want him to die, because I mean, he's the second best Lannister out of the whole series. But I don't know.
The first being Joffrey, right?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. It was kind of weird. I didn't expect it when Bronn's saved him. I don't know. I kind of didn't want it to happen because kind of needs to get a move on with killing off some characters if there's only one more season left.
I think burning the Tarleys was necessary. I don't think burning Dickon was necessary. But at least, Sam doesn't have to worry about his father now. I still wish they would have showed Sam finding out about his father. I don't think he would have cared too much.
Charlie's no more. Since Sam went to the Night's Watch, he's not an heir anymore. So like, there pretty much are no more Tarleys. When Jon touches his nose, senses the Targaryen blood in him. I don't know. That was really powerful. Like, it gave me chills the same way that the end of episode 10 of season 6, where it shows the baby and it cuts to Jon. That always gives me chills every time. And it kind of gave me the same chills this episode. The Lannister reunion between Jaime and Tyrion.
Could have been better.
Yeah, it could have been better. I don't know, because Jaime was just... Like, Jaime loves Tyrion, but, like, I could see that he wanted to kill him right there. He was fed up. Like, every single Tyrion and Jaime moment is always nice, but this one wasn't really that nice. Cersei knowing that it was going on the whole time, and she didn't really do anything. Is that, like, a key moment to, like, see that she has some sort of heart?
Jaime had told her that Tyrion wasn't the one responsible for Joffrey's death, so I think she hated him a little less. I think that she knew strategically if she killed Tyrion while he was there, Dany probably would have come rolling in. Although the Gold Cloaks did try it, and, you know, also that episode we see Gendry come back.
Yes.
I kind of like him a little better with long hair than buzzed off hair. But, you know, of course we see him doing what he does best, blacksmithing, and I like how he made that warhammer like Robert had. I mean, it wasn't the same exact one, but just the fact that he made a warhammer. Jorah comes back to Dragonstone. I think back in episode 3 when they cured him, I think they should have done a little more with him being, you know, sick with grayscale. They kind of just, it took 2 episodes to get over. I think that was a little too fast. Because, you know, throughout all of Game of Thrones, they've always talked about, like, grayscale is this such deadly disease, and is no one wants to treat it and whatnot, and then they just fix it in 2 episodes. But, you know, there's not enough time in the series left for them to do anything with it. I mean, episode 6 is something that everyone's been waiting for, I think, since, like, the first season when we see dragons being born. You know, we see dragons versus the undead army, but that's not till later in the episode. But, I mean, everything about this episode was great. But, yeah, no, it kicks off with the table at Dragonstone, the war table, and it's zooming up north. So I like how they did that, and then cut to up north and them walking. And a lot of those character interactions were just, in my opinion, hilarious. The, you know, the Hound telling Gendry to shut his, I forget what he said, like yabbering or something like that. You know, your lips are moving and you're complaining, so...
Quit minging.
Minging, that was it, yeah. That was a funny line. And then the Hound and Tormund, you know, you do know her. It's just funny reactions and interactions that we got to see. And then, of course, Jon trying to be noble and giving his sword back to Jorah. For a second, I thought Jorah was going to be a dick and just take the sword back. But, I mean, it is kind of dumb that Jon tried giving away a Valyrian steel sword, knowing that they're about to go up north to find some White Walkers and some Whites. Like, wouldn't you want to give that away after you deal with some White Walkers and Whites? And Beric definitely said that line where him and Jon were walking, and Beric said, "You don't look like him." And then Jon was like, "Who?" And then he said, "Your father." So I think it was kind of just a little tease that Dan and Dave threw in there, that he doesn't look like Rhaegar, his true father. He said he takes after his mother's side. So that whole interaction was just a little tease at who his true parents were.
It kind of pissed me off because I just want Jon to know who he is. This is literally the whole season, especially the end of episode 7. I mean, not going to talk about episode 7 a lot, but it's just like, oh, he needs to know who he is. Next season. Yeah, it's, episode 6 is one of my favorites. Just to see them fighting off all the Whites and just the White Walkers just right there. Everyone, like, pretty much some of the main characters fighting off Whites, like, never expected the Hound to be going up north. The one problem I had with the episode is when they're at a stalemate and they're just sitting on the rock and no one's really doing anything. They're kind of just waiting it out. I don't know, that part didn't really make sense to me, like them waiting for Dany to come. And then my favorite part of the episode is when the Hound throws a couple of stones at a white.
Fucking cunt. No, but I mean, they had to wait on the ice thing. It was just filler time for Dany to get up there, because, you know, they couldn't have gone and fought off for however long, a few hours for Dany to fly up there. Wouldn't have been enough time. You know, sad to see Thoros go, but he wasn't one of my favorite characters. Wasn't too big of a character. Mm-hmm. I think he could have gone out in a better way than just freezing to death, like in his sleep, or bleeding out, or however they had him do it. But I thought how they were doing the fight scene once the whites started to attack them on the rock, and it was kind of like, you know, zombies in round 150.
Yeah, horde mode.
Yeah, exactly, horde mode. And they were just getting overrun, and it got down to, I think there was 5 of them left, and you know, Tormund almost died. For a second I thought he was gonna die. Just everyone struggling to survive, and then Jon looking over the little cliff and seeing all those whites come up, and then he lifts his sword knowing that he's about to get overrun, kind of like in Battle of the Bastards, and then, you know, Drogon just flies over, and that was probably one of my favorite scenes in Game of Thrones, just the music playing and the dragons going, and we see all 3 dragons just destroying the whites. I don't know why Dany didn't just hit the White Walkers. I mean, yeah, she didn't know about them. I also believe that Dragonfire can't really harm them, because we see the Night King like walk over fire, walk over Dragonfire in that scene, but, you know, at least could have tried.
Yeah, this episode in itself was pretty controversial, because this was the episode that leaked, and it was all over Twitter.
Yeah.
A lot of spoilers that we both had to avoid the entire week before Sunday came. It was sad to see Viserion go, but we all knew it was gonna happen. You bring 3 dragons to the Night King, and he's probably gonna take one of them.
Yeah.
At first, I don't know. I thought Jon was gonna go. And I was about to be really mad. But then you see Uncle Benjen coming to the rescue. I don't know. It kind of sucks, you know, to see Benjen go. But I don't know. That episode was one of the best.
I think it'd be cool if, I mean, it'd definitely be sad, but I think it'd be cool if they brought Benjen back as a white, and one of something Jon would have to do is he would see Benjen coming at him as a white, and he'd have to kill Benjen. One of my favorite scenes in that episode is after the Night King kills Viserion, and Jon goes all rampage mode for no reason, because it's just, you know, fucks him over in the end. He like kills a white and then stares up at the Night King, and the Night King is just staring down at him, and then you see behind the Night King one of the other White Walkers gets another spear, and like the Night King just won't take his eyes off Jon. Like, he's just such a badass. I mean, the Night King's like one of my, if not my favorite characters, because he's just so unstoppable. After the dragon went down, I knew the Night King was gonna bring it back. Definitely the blue flame scene in the season finale was pretty sick. The chains, I think that the Night King knew that the dragons were gonna come up north, because he's probably a green seer like Bran. You know, if he's not Bran, go check out my Bran is the Night King video. No, but I think he had a little bit of knowledge, seeing the future, that Dany would come, so he either got the chains from Hardhome after that, like he just kept the chains with him, or it's just a major plot hole that we're just supposed to kind of overlook just for the sake of the Night King now having a dragon. Season finale, which is sad, because if you think about it, this is going to be the first week without Game of Thrones in 2 months, and now we have to potentially wait a 1.5 to 2 years. So I'm going to go kill myself until then. No, but the season finale was good. I love to see all the character reunions that happen. Tyrion and Bronn and Podrick and Tyrion, Bran the Hound. I mean, there's so many. The list goes on and on. You could actually check that out in my season 7 finale breakdown video. No, but it was good seeing all these characters that you never would have thought would see each other again come back, like Jon and Cersei. I mean, they only shared one scene together all the way back in season 1. So it was cool to see all these people. Dany meeting all the Lannisters for the first time, and
this whole episode, I was on the edge of my seat. I I remember coming back from work, midnight shift. I was like, the finale. Gotta wait. Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Seeing everyone come together in one scene was just perfect. A big payoff to every long hardcore fan. Yeah, I love the Euron scene where everyone's like, dude, shut the fuck up. And then, oh god, when Cersei sees the White is one of the best scenes. When the Hound's like, why isn't he moving? Kicks over the box, and the White, rah! Everyone's like, oh my god. Everyone gets a taste that the White Walkers and the Whites and the Long Night is real. Kind of a wake-up call to everyone in the South who doesn't really believe that. I also thought the Euron and Cersei plot was pretty smart. Euron, yeah, I'm out, bye. When in reality, he was getting the mercenaries.
Golden Company.
Yeah.
That was an amazing scene with Peter Dinklage and Lena Headey, something like that. I don't know. Cersei and Tyrion. I think that was some of their best acting in the season. I think I would have liked to see Cersei agree to help them on screen, but I feel like they didn't show it on screen. It was like an off-screen thing because it wasn't actually going to happen, so they didn't want to waste screen time on her swearing a fake oath, kind of. Going up north with Littlefinger trying to convince Sansa to have Arya killed. I think Sansa was playing that game a little bit. I think she's being manipulated a little bit. There's like these interviews that people did with some of the actors, and they did an interview with Bran. Ian is his first name. And he said there was a deleted scene in between the first Littlefinger and Sansa where he's trying to convince her to kill Arya, and then when they kill Littlefinger. And I guess in that deleted scene, Sansa goes up to Bran and she believes that Arya is out to get her, and she asks Bran to kind of look into it a little bit and see if it's true. And that's when Bran tells Sansa all the stuff that Littlefinger did. So I guess they cut it out of the final episode because they wanted to surprise us with the Littlefinger. You know, we didn't, and I don't think anyone saw that coming. So if they showed us that scene with Sansa and Bran, it kind of would have ruined the surprise. That scene is just unbelievable. You know, everyone thinks that Arya's getting called to get killed, and then Sansa's just like, you know, how do you answer to these crimes or whatever, Lord Baelish, and Littlefinger's face is just like, what? Like, what'd I do? And can't lie his way out of this one, and then Arya just delivers that quick blow, and oh my god, that was so satisfying to see. I was screaming like, yes, finally, you know. I've been waiting for this since season 1. So that was definitely one of my favorite scenes of the episode, Littlefinger taking it.
Jaime and Cersei, that was really powerful. Jaime was like, oh, have me killed then, the same way Tyrion did. And honestly, I thought Cersei was going to do it, but then Jaime was like, I don't believe you, and he just storms out. And also, the scene where he storms out, snow rains down on King's Landing. Yeah. That was awesome to see that winter is finally here for, you know, the South as well. But yeah, the Littlefinger scene was very satisfying. He was one of my least favorite characters of the entire series. To see him go that quick. Arya, please. Sam and Bran. Oh my god. That scene was amazing.
They have great chemistry together.
Yeah, they do. When Bran's like, I'm the three-eyed raven. Sam's like, okay, what's that? I don't know what that means.
My favorite part about that scene is Bran's like, you know, I need to talk to Jon. He's on his way back to Winterfell with Daenerys. And Bran's like, you know, Sam's like, did you see that in a vision? And then Bran just holds up the letter from the Raven. I thought that was a little bit of comedy that they had to throw in there for Bran, so all of his scenes weren't too just stone cold. Going back to that Cersei and Jaime scene when Jaime left, my favorite line from that is when Jaime's like, you know, there has to be a winner in the North. You do understand that, right? If the dead win, they march south and kill us all, and if the living win, they march south and kill us all. And Cersei still doesn't care, and that's just showing that, you know, mentally she's not there anymore, and I thought it was cool to see Jamie go. But yeah, I know that the Sam Brand scene, that was definitely great, and that was definitely the confirmation for the biggest fan theory, R plus L equals J. I mean, we pretty much knew it was true after the season 6 finale, but this one was like 100%. There's no argument, no coming back from it. Showed Rhaegar and Lyanna got married, showed Lyanna gave birth to Jon, aka Aegon. So yeah, now it's just a matter of time when and how Jon finds out. I don't know if he's gonna find out in the first episode of season 8, because it says that they were sailing for White Harbor, so it might show Dany and Jon rallying some of the North to get to Winterfell. I mean, they might get to Winterfell in episode 1, but yeah, it's definitely inevitable on when Bran is gonna tell Jon.
I love how this entire series we've been grossed out with incest between Cersei and Jaime, but everyone's come together and be like, fuck your aunt, fuck your aunt. And then when it finally happened, it was like, yay. But then, I don't know, for me, it was kind of weird when Bran's like, oh yeah, his name's Aegon Targaryen, like, he's actually a Targaryen, and it cuts to them, you know, doing it. And I was like, oh, like, that's weird. That's kind of weird. The biggest part of episode 7.
Biggest part of Game of Thrones, period. The wall comes down.
The wall is broken. What wall?
Exactly, what wall. Hashtag what wall. No, yeah, that... I'm glad we got to see Beric and Tormund one last time before season 7 ended. I don't think they died. It didn't show them die on screen, and it showed them on the part of the wall that didn't fall. So I don't think they would have died off screen. Those are two really big characters that they wouldn't just kill off screen. But yeah, I mean, the Night King flexed his entire army in front of them, and now we see he has way more than 3 giants, easily 100,000 soldiers, and of course Viserion. I mean, I don't know what the Night King fed Viserion in between the end of episode 6 and episode 7, but he is fast. I mean, in my opinion, the Night King is a cooler dragon rider than Daenerys. I mean, he just looks so, like, there's a scene where Viserion is breathing his blue fire onto the wall, and the Night King is just sitting up there, and he just looks like such a badass. You know, I'm excited to see dragon fights in the sky. You know, every season we've just seen dragons killing people, dragons burning, and just on the ground against dragons, and now we're finally going to see dragon versus dragon. And I think it's going to be emotional for Dany to try to fight one of her dragons. And one of my favorite scenes about that scene is after the wall comes down, you just see the White Walkers and the undead army start marching again, and they're just walking all casually, like taking their time, you know, knowing that whatever comes in front of them, they're just going to run over. And yeah, that last shot is just, you know, at the end of season 6, we got that last shot of Dany coming to Westeros with her entire army, and now we got this last shot of the strongest army ever coming down into, you know, the south, into Westeros. Alright, well, that wraps it up for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Thanks for listening to us. If you like this duo podcast style for certain subjects, let me know and I'll make sure to get Andrew back here. We did make another video about some season 8 predictions, and as soon as I'm done editing that video, I will get it out to you guys. I'm trying to do it as fast as I can. I'm just busy with work and school. So be on the lookout for that either tomorrow or the next day latest. If you liked today's video, tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what you didn't like about it down in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I love all the comments, bad or good, helps me improve, and I love to see you guys create conversations with each other. If you like this video, hit that like button, and if you really like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.